You're listening to a Roddenberry podcast.
Stop in and stay a while. We've got everything you need. We got buffets, amusement parks, musicians who study Vulcan philosophy. And if you know how to stop runaway nanites, we could probably use your help. It's Monday, it's 7 Pacific, 10 Eastern. You're there and we're here, and that can only mean it's Mission Log Live. I'm John Champion.
And I'm Ashley Victoria Robinson. Tonight, Star Trek Lower Decks continues its 5th season with episode 3, The Best Exotic Nanite Hotel. So click the Zoom link or give us a call at 669-900-6833. Earl is holding it down in the Earl Green Room, as always, just for you. And again, just click on that little Zoom link or give us a call at 669-900-6833.
Ashley, I'm so glad to see you. I'm so glad we get to do this again. I feel like it's been a while, but it hasn't been that long since you joined me on Mission Log as a guest co-host. That was a lot of fun.
Oh my gosh, so much fun.
And so welcome back to Mission Log Live. Glad to have you here.
Thank you. And if you watching are the person at MagicCon Las Vegas who touched something that I touched that made me miss the premiere week, I'm going to find you. I'm going to hunt you down like one of these nanites because that wasn't nice.
Okay.
So excited to be back doing nonsense with you, John.
Very good. Now, update from Earl in the Earl Green Room. Apparently, there is a disconnect between our broadcast and Facebook tonight. So you are catching us on YouTube or Twitch only. So if you're there and you know that we're missing the people who normally connect with us, tell them to drop on over to YouTube. Look, I think it's a better platform anyway, honestly, for catching video. Yeah. The chat is very active in Facebook, but we're going to stay on top of it as best we can. So all of you, please help us and get everybody over to Facebook. And I'm sure that we will drop in a post that also has the YouTube link. So you will be able to catch up. This, Ashley, you're a pro. You know what this is? This is vamping. This is eating a little time, right?
This is saying nothing but prayers and sending good vibes to everybody who has to have real jobs and real skills, and we can just stand here on the internet and fill time because John and I are nothing if not talking meat puppets.
Yes, that is exactly what we are. I'm always very impressed with people who do TV news for a living. They have the thing in their ear and they're getting updates all the time while they're talking. I could never do that. This is as good as it gets for me.
Yeah. Your brain has to be on like another level. I feel that way when I watch RuPaul's Drag Race and you can tell that they're getting prompts through the feed, like ask this person about their trauma. Right. Then you have to make it funny. Like how are we even going to do this, John?
I don't know.
Long for us.
I don't know. But look, now is your chance. As Ashley just said, you get in touch with Earl, you hang out in the Earl Green Room. Apparently, it's way more raucous in there than it ever is on the live show. I'm on the wrong end of this. So in the meantime, since a lot of you have found us, let's say hi to you over in YouTube and or Twitch. I see David Takechi already. I see Cherie. I see Matt. I see Paul Harveth. Hopefully we'll have another Paul, get the whole Paul Fecta going. I see, who else? I see Shar. Excellent. Glad to see you, Shar. Thanks for joining. Thanks for co-hosting with me last week. That was a lot of fun.
Thank you, Shar.
Yeah. Oh, we got Podcast of the Rings joining us. I think I know who that is. And we've got the Dow FAQ. Okay. And then we've got Brett. And let's see, we got Laura. We got all kinds of people finding us. This is great. I love it when a plan comes together.
It's almost like we're building our little crew of our Starship mission log.
Oh, yeah. They're here for the buffet. That's what they're for. Yeah. All right. Well, I tell you what, we will vamp no more. We'll get right into the meat of the show here as soon as we tell you what is coming up this week on Roddenberry Podcast. Now, this week on Mission Log, don't miss the conclusion of our discussion of Star Trek Voyager's two-parter bridging the end of Season 5 and the beginning of Season 6. That would be Equinox Part 2, or if you're in the UK and you don't understand a word that I'm saying, Equinox Part 2. That's just for you. And welcome back, Norman. We had a blast talking about those episodes. Norman joined me for one more right after that, and then I got another one coming up in Season 6. So Norman, he's on it. I love you, man. It's great to have you back in the co-pilot seat. And it's a little bit of breaking tradition where we are covering this two-parter into podcasts. Hope that's been satisfactory for everyone. It was a good way to approach this particular series, this particular arc. And then genealogy keeps knocking it out of the park. This week on Genealogy, just dropped this morning, another fascinating look into a Gene Roddenberry script that never was. This was a proposed series called Threshold, which was all about the United States Air Force. In Gene's episode, Beyond Atlas, not only prescient about the space program, but also shares quite a bit of DNA with Star Trek. So do not miss the conversation that Ashley and Earl had about the Beyond Atlas episode of the, well, series that failed to launch, Threshold. Go over to Genealogy for that one. And what else do we have, Ashley?
Oh, well, if I can show my bias, my favorite show in the feed, Mission Log Prodigy, drops tomorrow with Touch of Grey. That's a reference for all the old people watching the show. Don't forget that you can actually watch the video premiere, which is so exciting, of Mission Log Prodigy each week on youtube.com/Roddenberry Entertainment. I know you already knew that, but I have to tell you, it's the law.
There you go. Yeah. What else we got?
So much. We got Trek Files. They are coming back for their second conversation with Lalila Fajo, and very special episode remembering the late, the great Jerry Taylor. So I'm psyched, and I know you are too.
Truly great. You will really appreciate and love that episode. Lolita and Jerry were such good friends and colleagues, and it's just so nice to hear her and Larry just riff about a friend. It's awesome. So check it out. The Trek Files dropping tomorrow.
And just so you don't miss anything that we've shouted out, because it's so freaking amazing, follow all of these amazing shows at podcast.roddenberry.com. Make sure that you're also liking, subscribing, clicking all the little bells that you need so that you never miss any of our content. It also goes up on youtube.com/Roddenberry Entertainment. There it is again. Like the video that you're watching, right meow.
That nicely done. Nicely done. It reminds me of a joke. Remember Taxi, of course, with Andy Kaufman. All right, there's this great scene of Reverend Jim, the great Christopher Lloyd, on a phone. All right, he's on a phone in the taxi bay, and he literally says, "The guy on the other end, are you anywhere near a phone?"
Yeah.
And I feel that way about me. I got an Ashley snort. That's what I wanted. I literally feel that way about telling people on YouTube, find us on YouTube.
On YouTube.
So we're going to keep doing that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yes. Thank you. Well, here we go. I will go headlong into the recap, keeping it short, keeping these like a toiga every week. So here we go. The Cerritos arrives at the Cosmic Duchess, an interstellar station / cruise ship overwhelmed with self-replicating nanites that eat metal and power sources, while Mariner and her team work to capture the Glumpus, as the growing nanite clump is called. She realizes that she never actually broke up with her ex, Jennifer, which introduces a new level of tension on the mission. Meanwhile, Boimler is reluctantly recruited by Ransom and Billups for a covert mission to find the AWOL Admiral Milius, who's taken vacationing to the extreme after one too many space coladas. Side note, Boimler is freaked out when he sees the last guy, Jet, who came back from a mission with Ransom, with no hands, as Mariner grapples with, relationship stuff and the growing nanite mass. Boimler faces the dangers of Milius's vacation hideout, AWOL Falls, where the 3 Cerritos crew are captured and restrained. Milius, burnt out from a career of uneventful assignments and one too many whale milking missions, try saying that 3 times fast, tries to convince Boimler to abandon his Starfleet ideals. Boimler, however, turns the tables, rescuing Ransom and Billups with the judicious application of sunscreen. Mariner and Jennifer, finally acknowledging their flawed relationship, join forces to neutralize the Glumpus with the help of T'Lyn rocking out on the vibe tubes, the instrument of her music idol, Krog. The nanite threat is quashed, but there was a microscopic surprise in the debris, a tiny Intrepid-class starship from another, tinier dimension, just trying to get home. Coming out of hiding, Admiral Milius is assigned to the mission to help the Lilliputian USS Endeavour to get back home. T'Lyn comes this close to admitting her fangirl obsession with Krog. Jennifer and Mariner say their strained goodbyes, and Ransom sets his sights on Jet, newly healed with a couple of working hands, and gets recruited into the next dangerous mission, whether he likes it or not. The end.
Lilliputian is a word I did not expect to hear on Mission Log, Alex,
No?
for 500.
Wow. I feel like, oh man, maybe we've used it. There is a great friend of the show who does transcripts of every single episode. And if we wanted to see if we ever dropped Lilliputian ever in any other spot, we would be able to find it.
Yeah, the English major in me is like so impressed. Truly, it's a good pull, John.
I'm glad we could have that moment. That was even tinier than Lilliputian, though. I mean, you had to have a microscope to see that thing. But yeah. Hey, before we jump to our first caller, any hot takes, any notes you want to make sure absolutely that we get to before we say hello to our first waiting in the wings?
Is Admiral Milius a reference to John Milius? She needs to know.
Ooh, okay. I think you know somebody to ask, but go ahead.
I'm so happy that Jennifer's back. I never expected to see her again. I feel like this episode was made for people like me who've been screaming about that, and I'm very, very excited that she's back, and I'm glad that we can all share this moment together.
It's one of those funny things where, okay, we will call out not just Star Trek, but, obviously I'm working on Star Trek most of the time, talking about shows. But we will call out other shows when a character just sort of reemerges and you feel like the writers and producers are trying to pull a fast one on you. Like, you remember this character and they've just been here all along. I love the way that Lower Decks handled this, where we thought we weren't going to see Jennifer ever again, but then that becomes part of the interaction. That becomes part of the tension with Mariner. It's great. I love the way that was handled.
Yeah, and dare I say, gives her even a teensiest little bit more bit of character growth, which we love every time Mariner keeps a bit of character growth.
Yes, absolutely. All right, well, let's jump over to our first caller who has been patiently waiting. Paul Harvath, glad to see you tonight. How's it going, man?
Let me tell you, Paul's also been patiently waiting for a Discord reply from me that I will probably get to now that I'm not on the road. So, an absolute saint coming in today.
No,
Very
hello.
good.
Can you hear me? No,
we sure
I'm muted.
can.
Oh, you can. Excellent.
Yeah, we can hear you.
I just can't believe I'm here with the Red Shirt Diaries queen herself. If you've ever seen this show, to be live on stage with her as it is just a joy. We're just
My
not
poster is right over there. Don't make fun. It's got my face on it and everything.
I need that poster autographed at some point in my life.
Nice.
Just a total joy. Let's see. I'm gonna make sure you save the discussion for strange geometric shapes, which plays a pertinent role here. But save that for Alan. I think he's got some,
nice.
Some saved artifacts maybe to help out. So
Great.
the first note I have is Jen. She's back. Where the heck? Did you see this relationship working, Ashley? I mean, you just seem like the kind of person who would, you and Cherie, who's coming up soon, this relationship was never meant to be, right? It was just a fling. Is that true?
I think that's probably true, but I tell you, if it would have ended with a wedding between the two of them, I would have been absolutely thrilled. But more, I saw it working out less than my beloved 10D Rutherford, which is never going to work out. So I think I'm in the same spot.
Wait, you're saying never, but really?
I think never.
No. She's right behind me and she tells me every day how much she likes it.
That's my head. That's where I live. Let me tell you, friends.
Yeah.
So, the thing, I don't know if you mentioned this, the Denobulan spy. How cool was that? Just sort of this, slight reference and a sleek character. And how the hell did this admiral get here anyway? We know he was bored, but that's a backstory in its own, do you think? It's just so cool.
I love the idea that the Admiral has like, what is it, platinum elite status or platinum gold elite
Yeah.
status, whatever. It was so good, such a way to drop in. And you would guess, like, as an Admiral, he's got all the miles, so he can drop those miles on a spot. He can get the tip off when Starfleet shows up. He's living a pretty good life.
He
I
probably
love that.
also has really, really extra good status because he is probably in a polyamorous situation, as we know about the Denobulans. So not only is his credit working towards the Latinum, but all of his partners' subsequent credit is working towards
Yes.
the Platinum status.
Very good. Have we had Denobulans outside of Enterprise? Is this the first time? Mm.
I don't, you know what? I'll do a cursory Google and see if I can find the
Okay.
answer.
I think. Wait a minute. Earl Green from the Earl Green room saying that we had one in Prodigy. We probably did not
That's
get too
true.
much into their love lives on Prodigy. Not family appropriate. Yeah.
I know, probably sort of like some of the things we see today. Never mind, I'm not going there. I had to go there just to reference what point in life we're at. So, as a marker, let's mark this date as inappropriate things on TV in the past week.
Nice. Nice.
So, I know we got some great callers coming up, but I want to just end with this one. First of all, Ashley, never apologize for First of all, get to my request when you may. It's just such a joy. Your infectious energy is I'm just happy to be alive every time I see you. The vibe tube slash
Bong.
Lynn slash, singer kind of thing is just so special to me because, she gets to fangirl.
Yeah.
She gets to be, actually perform on a new instrument for us, and she gets to meet her star and get an autograph picture.
Yeah.
Discuss that line. I think it's the most beautiful thing for a fan of the show to experience in the show.
The hard agree. I love that whole thing with her because if there's anything we love about a Vulcan, it's seeing a Vulcan crack. It's seeing that a Vulcan has some developed life, not just what's going on between their pointed ears. They have some passion that goes beyond just talking about logic. And to see these little expressions of her get excited about it, she's on the same stage. She's just aware. She sees the posters. She's aware that he's there. I love that detail being built about her because up until now, yes, we have had some details about T'Len. But where do you go from there other than just her being sly and dry and smart? So I am here for it. I'm here for anything like that. I think it's wonderful.
I also have a pet theory that it's like a love letter to fans because when you go to a convention or anything like that, that's the experience that you have. And to have that through a Vulcan specifically, like to John's point, I think is super, super powerful because the other thing that we know about Vulcans is not that they don't have emotions, it's that they feel them so strongly.
Deeply,
So,
yes.
like what is she doing on the inside that's even more adorable than what we're seeing on the outside? Like I want to see the little chibi T'Len that lives inside.
Yes, yes.
All you have to
100%.
do is meet Gabrielle Ruiz in person, and she will let you know. And I'm going to leave it there. Pass over to Cherie. It's always great to see you
I
too.
love that.
Look forward to a week from now, and hopefully life is in a good place.
Take care. Hey, live
Bye,
long and
Mom.
prosper, friend. Take care. Yeah, I love that. I fully expect to see T'Len's at the next convention holding the vibe tube thing. Like, I love that little
Yeah.
bit as Krog's instrument. I think it would be hard to pull off a Krog costume, but I expect somebody would do that too. I think that was all doable. I'm taking a quick look here in the chat. By the way, definitely people right in your headspace, Ashley. Paul Wright saying, "Oh, I love Tenduford." So is that what we're calling it? Is that what we're calling the matchup?
I think we're calling it practically perfect in every way.
Okay. All right. Very good. Very good. All right. And people who are definitely on the same page with you, Familius. So.
Yeah, I know stuff about things.
You know stuff and things. All right. Let's jump over to Cherie. Glad to have you here, Cherie. What is on your mind tonight?
Hey.
Hey.
Good to see you all.
You're
I wanted
so
to show off.
cute.
It's true. It's true.
It's the glass. I can't. The glasses are just they're so
Oh.
cute.
Thank
Mhm.
you. I wanted to show off this game that I got.
What is this?
It's a card game. I haven't gotten to play it yet, but it's a lower decks card game called Buffer Time. I'm
Oh
very
my
excited to
God.
play it.
Where did, hang on, is that like, dare I ask, is that a licensed thing? Where do you find
Um,
it? What's,
I guess it's
No, it
from
is.
this
I
Modicius Entertainment.
okay.
Um, I'm guessing it wouldn't be so kind of polished looking if they weren't allowed to do it, I would
Yeah.
think. So yeah, it was advertised on my Ave Lower Decks group. So I had to buy
Awesome.
it.
I love it. And it is the goal of Buffer Time to do the least amount of work?
I would guess probably. Like I said, I haven't gotten a chance to play it yet. I am looking forward to that. If you
That
want to
is
play it.
awesome. Yes, I love that idea. And let us know. Tell us your
Will
experience with
do.
it. Yeah, yeah. So, what are you thinking about the episode about the Best Exotic Nanite Hotel?
I did want to add for the Denobulan question, there were Denobulans in another episode of Lower Decks in the Mugatu episode. In the beginning of the
Oh,
Mugatu
yes.
episode, there were
okay.
Denobulans. They were the first ones to find the Mugatus on the planet.
Very good.
And I
Nice.
always know when they're Denobulans because I love Denobulans because Dr. Phlox is my favorite doctor.
An incredible character.
He is
I
You
great.
love
can make
him.
a good. I think you can make a good case for any of the doctor. You can make a really good case that he's the
I
most
mean, the
frontier
EMH is definitely a
doctor.
close
Yeah.
second,
Sure.
but I love Phlox. I love Phlox so much.
He's pretty great. We will definitely not tell John Billingsley that because his ego does not need to get any bigger. But
I might have already told him that. I think I
oh
might
my
have
gosh.
gotten to talk
So
to him on
that's
one
what
of the
caused it.
episodes.
That's what made the ego grow.
Maybe
Okay.
Your
I'm
fault.
okay with it being my fault.
That's funny.
Okay. Fair. Fair.
But I did also want to say that I was also so glad that we got to see Jennifer again. I would have preferred Jennifer and Mariner get back together, but I knew that wasn't likely based on interviews I've heard from Mike McMahon. So I was very happy with this outcome because based on interviews, I had a bad feeling we wouldn't see her again at all. So I
Yeah.
thought this was the second best thing that could have happened versus them getting back together, of them kind of working it out. And they amicably split up. So
Yes.
they could still get back together.
That's
That's
very
what I tell
true.
myself.
Oh, I love that. Okay. I think that those are all good points. I absolutely, yeah, I agree. I choose to believe that too. Yes. What
I
else?
also,
Any other? Yeah.
I
Oh,
just
go
want to add
ahead,
that I
Ashley.
think it's super
Yeah.
mature to see characters break up and not be horrible. But if anyone likes that, there is the first episode of the most recent season of Harley Quinn, the animated series, has a version where two exes meet up and they become friends, and it's surprisingly mature for Harley Quinn, the animated series.
Nice. Very good. What else you got, Cherie?
Um, I would also just say that I love Andorians, so that's why I love Jennifer so much, because whenever I see an
Yes.
Andorian, just like Denobulans, I just love Andorians, so I just get excited.
Pretty awesome. Yes. Yeah.
I maintain that Enterprise, though, are my favorite Andorians because not since then have we seen the very best antenna. Like their antenna moves so much in Enterprise. It's so exciting, and I know it was supposedly so loud on set. Like apparently, like it was all animatronic, and so it's going like the entire time Jeffrey Combs is talking. But
Well,
so
and I was
worth
going to
it.
say, when you have a Jeffrey Combs in an alien role, it immediately elevates all of those other aliens. So
But it's
the
also rude to every other actor because who is going to be better than Jeffrey Combs?
that's very true. Very true. I don't know. I mean, look, Vorta, you bring in Iggy Pop, and it's like, okay, if we got Jeffrey Combs, we might as well just go weird and bring in an Iggy Pop, and that'll flesh out our Vorta. Yeah, they had some great actors in those roles. What else? Anything else on your mind tonight, Cherie?
I did want to reassure Ashley. I think Rutherford and Tendi has already happened. They just have a different kind of love. They have a different kind of
Whoa.
love. It's love. It's true love. It's definitely love.
I
It
just
is
want them to kiss,
100%
Cherie.
love.
I just want them to kiss. That's all I
It's
want.
not that kind of love.
one,
I
and
think
then we
the
can be like,
Ferengi
"It was
episode
awkward."
established that. Not that kind of love.
I know, but
But
I
that's
want it to
okay.
be. I don't-
Not everyone's love is the same.
That's awesome.
You're so right, and that's why you're a better human than I ever did.
You can get the little action figures and make them kiss. How's
Girl,
that?
you know I would.
Yeah. By the way, in the chat, David Takechi says Tendyford sounds like a pub town in England where everybody knows your name and everyone's off at 5. So I think that's really good. Carlos asked, "Does Tendyford sell jelly babies?" Yes, the answer is yes. Of course they do. Paul Harveth giving us an Iggy Pop sighting. So very good. Thank you all for playing along. I appreciate that. Cherie, before we move on to some mid-show business, anything else you want to share with us?
Just one last thing that I forgot last time.
Okay, bring it on.
And I apologize if somebody did mention it and I just forgot. But I remember we talked about like consent between Rutherford and Tendi, which they definitely have that. I think they're all good.
Okay.
But what I don't think Rutherford got consent on is when he completely changed Rutherford's personality. He just reprogrammed that man's brain.
Whoa.
And he didn't even ask. He just came right up to him and be like, "Oh yeah, right. He's like a board, so I can do this." And it's like, "No, Rutherford, you would ask consent."
Ooh.
And
you can't
sign off on it because Rutherford is the good guy, so we assume he's doing what's right.
But you can't base it also on afterwards when he's like, "Now I want to have friends." It's like, yeah, because you changed his entire personality without asking.
Oh man. That's such a good point. I didn't think about that. And maybe we would just assume that, okay, well, it is him, but it's not him. And whoever is Prime is only a matter of perspective. So, oh boy, that's an issue. Thanks for bringing that up.
No morals, meanings, messages this episode.
No. Can't go there. Wow. That is some deep stuff. Thank you for finding that, Cherie. Now that will keep me up all night.
I still love Rutherford. We make mistakes sometimes. Sometimes we reprogram our alternate selves and we don't think to ask for consent.
Well, wait. Now, see, here's Carlos in the chat saying, "But do you need consent for you?" But it's not you.
But it's not you.
It's off
like
by
an alternate. It'd be like if Riker decided like he could somehow change Thomas Riker's brain. They're different people now.
They would almost be more different than identical twins because identical twins share complete DNA. So if you think one twin is different than another, then one Rutherford is different than another.
Rutherford. See, and that, I mean, that whole other dimension is off by a 0.0375 phase variance, if I remember correctly. So that's a whole other thing, you know. It is a universe where other Boimler's beard is magnificent, and the one in our universe, he's got. I love how they just keep adding a couple of little hairs.
It's like a trauma flashback to my high school boyfriend. It's so bad.
I actually had to look up because it made me curious. I was like, can Jack Quaid grow a beard? Because I'd never seen him with one. And yes, he can. Better than Boimler.
Okay.
So he can, Boimler can't.
I love it. Wiry with those little, like I think last week in episode 2, it was like 3 little lines, and now it's like 6 little lines. Hilarious.
It is No Shave November. So.
It is.
Do we think it lasts? Do we think it lasts to the end of the season, or is there going to be a dramatic shearing of the beard?
I 100% think this will be a running gag through to the last episode, and we're just going to keep getting a little bit more.
I hope they find out that the other Boimler is evil, like I think he is, and then, like in a show of showing his own identity, he just shaves off the beard.
I thought OG Boimler was evil for like the whole first season. I was like, nah, he's gonna be bad. So alternate Boimler has to be evil because I need to be proven right.
He's got to be. He's got to be. I think he's got to be. Because everyone else in the other universe was kind of evil, although I don't think other T'Lyn was evil. I'm thinking more and more. I'm actually hoping more and more that this T'Lyn is not the other T'Lyn.
Really? Okay, because I was after talking last week, I'm fully on board with this being a T'Lyn switch.
Like I said, it's a character arc thing. So I love the whole fact that the T'Lyn loves this musician, and we're learning more about her. And if it turns out to be the other T'Lyn, then we haven't really learned anything about our T'Lyn over all of these episodes. So I don't like that, but it could still be the case. I haven't ruled it out as a possibility, but it's not what I want. I just think it could be.
Okay. All right. I love it. Cherie, thank you so much as always. Love your insights and thoughts, and we will see you again. Okay. All
Hey,
right. Take care.
Bye.
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 All right, just a quick reminder, we do have some more callers coming up, and now is your chance to click on the thing or pick up the thing and dial the thing and call us and talk to Earl, and then we can talk to you. There's still room. We love to hear your thoughts and your insights. But before we go to our next caller, let's talk about what's happening in the Mission Log Patreon and by extension, the Mission Log Discord. Ashley, I know that Paul Harveth called you out, and you've got to
No,
answer him.
I called myself out because I know how I am.
Well, let me just tell you that if you were to go over to the Mission Log Discord, you would find a lot happening in our live channels. There is international chat. There's Twilight Zone chat. Of course, there's Mission Log After Dark every Thursday where we talk about the episode that dropped that day. There's the Zocalo talking about Babylon on 5 in episode order. There's Kon-Tiki, led by our own Paul Harveth, talking about real world meetups and just a little bit of everything under the sun, honestly. And then we are wrapping up our series called Bondatory that Mark has been hosting in there. They just did let's see, they just did the top 5. Then they're going to do music of Bond, then favorites from Q Branch, and then they're going to transition into Battlestar Galactica on December 2nd. That is all happening at 6 p.m. Monday nights, a great lead in to Mission Log Live. So you hop over to Discord, you talk a little Galactica, and then you come over here and you talk to us about current Trek. So you can do all of that by joining us at patreon.com/missionlog. You get all the other fun stuff too. You might get swag. You might get, well, you definitely get the unedited preview shows for Mission Log and Genealogy. That's fun in and of itself. But then you open up a whole other world of conversation with not just us, but fellow fans in our Discord. Believe me, it is such a great way to go, cutting out all the noise from social media. We will see you there in our Discord when you join us at patreon.com/missionlog. All right, back to a little Lower Decks discussion. And it is my pleasure to welcome into the show also another Mission Log guest co-host, John Arminio. Welcome.
Thank you. It's great to be talking Lower Decks with you and Ashley.
Well, hey, this is, since I've had you both on Mission Log, this is part where I just get to sit back and say, okay, co-hosts, go. You just go. You just carry us on now until 8 o'clock. So,
Okay.
What is on your mind tonight, John?
I guess real quick, a couple shout outs. For all you literary Star Trek fans, one of my favorite comic book writers, Ryan North, he's written a couple of Star Trek Lower Decks comics, but he recently came out with a choose your own adventure style graphic novel called Warp Your Own Way, illustrated by Chris Funiglio. So if that sounds interesting to you, definitely check that out.
Nice.
I am a comic book store employee, so I have to support the medium.
Very good. Yeah.
And then Admiral Milius, voiced by the legendary Toby Huss.
Yeah.
Just like from Adventures of Pete and Pete, King of the Hill, and about 1 million supporting roles in TV and film. Just one of my favorite character actors. Always fun to see him pop up. So that was very fun.
As soon as I heard his voice in the show, I kind of perked up and was like, "Oh, that's the guy. I know that I've heard that voice." And I had to do a little digging, and then all the dots got connected. But instantly, I just thought, "Oh, yeah. There's a voice we know." Yeah.
And one of the things that I really appreciate about Lower Decks, now that we have 4 seasons behind us and we still have a bit of a season to go, is I love it when we can have Mariner be insecure and Boimler have to find his confidence. And we can see how, I think those characters are most interesting when their own personas are subverted. So we see that the supremely confident, gung ho, like fist first Mariner just breaks down when she has to have like an awkward social conversation that makes her uncomfortable. And so we see the veneer of confidence that she's always putting on, sort of like broken down when her like emotional core is exposed. And then we see that Boimler can actually find the hero within him, if enough people are put in mortal danger. He'll finally get there.
Right.
That's going to look great on the bottom of your resume. Run away unless point of mortal danger.
Yeah.
Right. Nice. Yeah, well said. Yeah, and then that is a nice thing to add to your resume. I thought Boimler's whole thing. First of all, there's so many good Boimler moments in this episode. Anyway, the falling Boimler scream absolutely made me laugh out loud as he's going down the slopes, and just everything that happens to him that doesn't happen to the other guys, I thought was great. Of course, it felt like setup. Of course, the reveal was like, no, we need you because you're smart and wiry. Everything fell into place beautifully, and I thought he was wonderful. By the way, also some of the details about his arc that I appreciated, calling out the frail scale, which I thought was a nice use of language in the episode, and some of the details of the places that they go. I loved Coward's Gulch, which just felt appropriate to Boimler anyway. But I loved all the amusement park details. I loved the fact that there was a lazy river, that there was, a ski experience, that there was, a swim up pool, just a swim up bar. Like all these little details were fantastic. And Carlos says that scream was almost endless, and that's what made it perfect. It's just like the commitment to the joke of that long, distant, very quiet but very distinct scream as he flies off the ledge. I thought it was great.
I will offer a criticism because there's a moment later where he's tied up and he's offered a drink and he goes, I don't know, maybe a spritz.
Yeah.
And, I'm still like, I was like, what kind of spritz? Like an Aperol spritz, a white wine spritz? Like that's of all the minutia, we didn't get that. And that is the thing that's like living as like a little brain worm, and probably tells you why I don't drink anymore, because I was so fixated on it, whether it was Aperol in there or not.
Well, because this is the kind of show that is very specific about details like that. Like if you're going to name check a drink, you will be very specific about what that thing is.
You also miss the opportunity, not to rewrite one of the funniest shows on TV, but you miss an opportunity to like have a space joke in there. Like what's some silly cluster, like what's a Ryza spritz? I don't know.
Yeah, right. See, that was all they need.
I'm
also,
sorry, Mike. I'm so sorry.
No, but look, okay, but to their credit, the little details that they did slip in, like his excitement over the Dixon Hill slot machines.
So good.
That's
so
perfect.
Good.
And again, another example of Lower Decks finally just like letting the joke happen, letting it hit in the dialogue, and not having to put the brakes on things and then turn to the audience and explain, like, it's that thing that Picard did in the holodeck because Dixon Hill is a fictional detective in San Francisco, and like on and on and on, and absolutely kill the joke and bury it underground. No. We hit it and we got it and we laughed and we moved on. Yeah. Thank you, Lower Decks. Yeah.
One of my favorite podcasts other than Mission Log is called Action Boys, and it's comedians talking about action movies, and one of the guys who does it, Ben Rogers, he was a writer on Lower Decks. And at one point he did let his frustrations come through on the podcast where he talked about that. Like that was an ongoing debate in the writer's room, where he would be like, no, the joke is there.
Yeah.
And then other voices in the writer's room would be like, no, but we have to say that Picard played Dixon Hill. So that is a conversation that has gone on several times behind the scenes, it seems like. And so I'm glad that finally we've come across the other side and we no longer have to put a hat on a hat on those jokes.
That's Excellent. I am so glad to know that that is a writer's room debate.
Yeah.
That is very satisfying to hear that. Oh, and by the way, of course, Carlos dropping in saying the bar and the river were more Apocalypse Now references. So,
Thanks,
Yeah.
brands.
yeah. All right, it's all coming together. Cherie says probably a prune juice spritz. So, yeah,
A warrior spritz.
a warrior
Oh my
spritz.
God! I
Yes.
recently told my 97-year-old grandmother, who is not proud of the fact that she drinks prune juice, that it is a warrior's drink, and she demanded I put that on a t-shirt for her for Christmas.
Oh God, that's
I was
awesome.
like, this,
I
that would
love
have been
it.
Nice.
such a
I
good
love it.
moment.
Very cool. John, any other parting shots here?
Yeah, just to echo what everyone else has said, like it's just so great to see Talin get to be a fan and to see the cracks in her Vulcan facade, like the most adorable Vulcan, you know.
Yes,
And
Yeah.
100%.
yeah. And as much as I have been pro Tendyford in the past, it seems like they're like Frodo and Sam. Like they're so intimate, it goes beyond romance.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like they wouldn't even think of it.
How did you pick the one ship that would have convinced me? Because that's a hill I will die on as well. Where
Yeah.
you're like, no, they could never. How dare you?
Yeah.
You're probably. I've come to expect it, but it will make me sad, and I'll bring it up in every episode. So get ready.
Understandable. I understand. But I leave it to me to bring in a Tolkien reference to
I know.
support my
So
argument.
shocking.
Well, like I want Tendyford to happen because I want that to happen for Ashley.
Me too.
So even if they have a Lord of the Rings style friendship, doesn't mean they can't kiss. Just to keep Ashley
Just
happy.
once.
Yeah, just once. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. Yeah. By the way, David's saying, I get the impression that cracks in the Vulcan is more common than not. We still haven't gotten to Enterprise in mission log. Stand by. We've got about a year to go. So, yep. John, thank you so much as always. Really
Thank you.
appreciate it. Good to see you, and we'll see you again.
Have a good evening.
Bye, John.
All right.
Bye.
Take care. Let's see. We got coming up Alan, and then we've got Laura after Alan. By the way, Earl saying in the Earl Green Room, Cracks in the Vulcan is my new Crack the Sky cover band. So thank you.
It can
Thank
be
you,
my
Earl.
name for when this microphone peaks.
It could be. That might be. That's perfect. All right, Alan, welcome to the show. You already got teased a little bit earlier by Paul, so I want to know what's coming up. What kind of comments you got here
Geometry corner!
about geometry? Yes.
Well, I'm a well-known fan of icosahedrons. So
Yeah, there we
Go
go.
off.
There
Yep.
we go.
and for the purposes of this mission, I think we should all pick code names.
Mhm. Okay.
I'm going with Darius Pomerigio.
That's good. That's good. Ooh, wow. See, I felt like they were kind of doing a mystery science theater thing with like Chip Beef Pile and
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God.
yeah, and Chunk Huge Large. And because wait, they were looking for, was it Jet Manhaver?
Yeah.
Was that
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, that's so, oh my God, those are so good. And I love that they were all vacation bros. Yeah.
And all
So-
the vacation wear looks like what my family in Canada was wearing in the early 1990s. Like it is so of a
Yeah.
specific era that even though we have seen like the brightly colored vacation clothes in before, there's something about doing that style of animation that I just thought was so silly and so retro in a very
Yes.
unintentional way.
So good.
Yeah,
By the way, Alan, not to leave you hanging, I am now going to choose. I'm going to commit that my code name will be Brick Rockman. That
very
yeah,
good.
That'll
Very
be
good,
mine.
Brick.
Yeah, and then Ashley will, whenever you're ready, you chime in with your code name.
I think given the tone of the broery, I'm gonna
It's
go with
very broy.
Lady Sad Parts.
Okay. Yep. That
I
fits.
love that.
I think that's
It does.
appropriate on so many
That's
levels.
good. That's good.
I,
It
I
is-
think we are now an elite squad.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. And all of our mysteries will be solved at Club Bromed on
Absolutely.
Voyager. Yeah.
I love it.
Yes.
What are we getting in our spritz, and why is it prune juice?
I don't know, but it's not going to be a lazy river after that one.
No. Carlos chiming in saying, I roll icosahedrons every weekend. So Carlos is he's right there with you. And
Absolutely.
wait a minute, David chiming in with his own code names. Yeah, Big McHuge, Big McLarge Huge, Punch Rock Groin.
That was
Yeah.
another one. Yep.
And Thick Run Fast and
Big
Bob.
Run Fast!
Yeah, Bob Johnson.
That's so funny.
Yes.
These are good. These are really good.
Oh yeah, those are classics. Those are
yeah.
classics.
Yeah. By the way, welcome, Captain Mike. Glad to have you here. But Alan, other than showing us your
Yeah.
your 20-sided die,
Yes.
what else you got for us?
I just want to continue the Tallinn love train. I mean,
Yeah.
that's
Yes.
I think I've told this to various people, maybe on Mission Log, definitely probably in After Dark, but I picked up drinking coffee in lockdown.
Mhm.
And the thing is, I never liked it until I watched a video that suggested I put salt, just a little bit of salt in, because it takes away the acidity chemically. And so all you get is coffee flavor and whatever else you put in it, which for me is usually a little bit of skim and 2 spoons of sugar.
Okay.
So yeah, it's like Tallinn is that little bit of salt that just sort of makes the whole thing better.
I love that. I love that. Now, by the way, I've read about this thing about putting salt in coffee for a while. I've never
Yeah.
actually done it. Drink a lot of coffee. How much salt do I need to put into my coffee?
I would say maybe like a quarter teaspoon
Okay.
is probably sufficient
Okay.
for a normal cup.
Yeah.
John,
I-
how much money to have you do this on Mission Log Live?
I will do
next
it.
week?
I will
Yeah.
absolutely do it.
I
Next
would-
week,
yeah.
I'll be back in the office. There's a coffee maker there, so
Yeah.
all
I
right, it's gonna happen.
usually use my grinder, so it's about 8 to 10 grinds depending on
Okay.
how I'm feeling and what I'm what I'm trying to neutralize chemically. I
Okay,
guess.
all right, fair. I'm gonna try this. Like I said, I've read about it, but I never
Yeah.
actually just found myself needing to do that. So for you, because now I have a test case that I know.
There you go.
Now I'll do it. Okay, and Carlos saying my granny put in a pinch or two. So there we go. All right, gonna give it a
Works out
shot
pretty well.
next week on the show. I can't wait.
Yep.
What, yeah.
Tangentially connected to Lynn. I liked Krog. I think it's fun that she's shall we call them Kroggers?
Yes.
Yeah, I like that.
Kroggers.
Yeah.
I was thinking, Kroggies like Swifties, but no, Kroggers
Yeah.
feels better.
Yeah.
The one thing I don't know what their thought was, but the one thing that I wish that they had done in the episode that they didn't do is I wish that it had just been the vibe music when she was playing. But I think it sounded like they were doing the vibe music mixed with the regular score. And I was like,
yeah.
I would have just cut out the score and just had it be whatever the hell this is.
Yeah. Yeah.
That whatever weird theremin sound those things make, just have that be the soundtrack for that section of the show.
I
But
100% agree. And as you well know, there are many instruments in the late 24th, early 25th century that look like, light up tubes and light up pads that make music, because if Space Rockers from Buck Rogers taught us anything, that's how music is made in the future.
Absolutely.
So we know. Yeah. Earl, by the way, saying, pretty sure those glass tubes make a very distinct bong sound.
Very
think he's
good. Yeah,
right. Yeah.
it's like the water glasses. You know, you
Oh my God,
put
that
your
was
hands
such a
over the.
moment in time too.
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
Yep,
Perfection.
absolutely.
Wow, wow,
Uh,
wow.
this was otherwise this was a great episode for passive aggression. Lots of that this week.
Shout out to
Whether it's
passive aggressive.
whether it's you know, Jen and Mariner, or uh, everything going on with with Boimler and the Bros. Just like a lot of people not saying a lot.
Yes, agree.
Even
This is
Milius.
one of those episodes that I felt like, as far as the plot goes, because we had a really
Yeah.
strong start with episodes 1 and 2. I felt like that was just such a bang up way to go into the season. This felt a little slower.
Yeah.
I was a little less interested. But here's the thing: rewatching it and then having this conversation tonight, I'm like, oh yeah, but there are all these great things happening, and oh yeah,
Yeah.
there are all these great character moments,
And in both the A plot and the B plot, we get some variation of, hey, we need to give a win.
Hmm.
And I think
yeah.
that's an interesting sort of like, maybe we don't. Maybe we just talk about things and make sure everyone's on the same page. That might be a little bit healthier.
Right, right.
So,
Well said.
and with that, I think I'll cede my time.
Okay.
Give it
Very
back to the
good.
room.
All right,
Absolutely.
man. Well, a pleasure as always, Alan. Thanks for stopping by,
Bye,
and
Have a good
we'll see
one.
you again.
It was good
Take
seeing you
care.
guys. Bye-bye.
Likewise. All right. And our last caller tonight doesn't have to be. If anybody else out there, you can click on the link that we have so handily dropped into the chat. You can join Earl in the Earl Green Room, and then you can talk to us, and we can wrap this thing up. But until that point, let us talk to Laura. Laura, welcome to the show. How's it going?
Good. Glad to be here. First time for Lower Decks Mission Log Live. So
Also, not Laura
Fantastic.
coming in looking like absolutely the Little Mermaid princess today with the red hair.
well, it's supposed to be purple, and that was what the point I was going to make, is that I appreciate that we have purple hair representation now. It's very important to me with because I feel like it needs to be more of a thing, because I see them everywhere I go. People with purple hair, even old ladies with it, with like the purple tips or whatever. And I'm
I
like,
love
this
it.
needs to be more of a thing, and I need the technology to be able to maintain that hair color, because it is not easy to maintain.
Well, not only does the hair look fabulous, I was going to ask you about your T-shirt. What's
My
the
periodic
Trek theming?
table.
Oh,
Oh, that's awesome.
that's cool.
Yeah. My mom
So-
got it for me.
It's a little hard to read from here, but what are some
it's
of the
hard
highlights
to read in
there?
person too, but it's got like all the captain, most of the officers. It's got Discovery in here.
Gotcha. Oh, cool.
The different
Okay.
characters are each.
Nice. Oh, that's
So
fun.
cool.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. All
I had
right.
some Star Trek sweatpants too, but then the logo rubbed off, and I was like, "Dang it!"
Oh no. Well, in your heart, there's still your Star
You
Trek
go, you
sweater.
go get a
Yes,
Sharpie
exactly.
and then you just
You
shoot
just
it
fill
back
it
on.
in.
No one will know.
I'm
So
gonna
section
look for a
31 is all
patch.
black.
There's a patch. I'm sewing that on there.
There you go. There you go.
But I
Well,
didn't
talk.
really-
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't really have any opinions on the latest episode. You said call in, and so I was like, oh, that means they have room. So I guess I'll jump on. real quick.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, you say you didn't have any opinions on it. Is it because, and I'll kind of just flesh out what I was saying a moment ago. Like, I enjoyed it, but I wasn't wowed by it in the way that I was episodes 1 and 2. Now, look,
Yeah.
we're 3 episodes into a 10-episode season.
Yeah.
Lower Decks has never let me down.
Yeah.
But I felt like this was just sort of okay as an episode with many great moments. Is that what you were feeling?
Well,
Talk
like
to me about
the
that.
whole, not Tawny, the whole Mariner and Jennifer relationship,
Mhm.
bringing closure to that whole thing. That was good, but that's, one of those things that they're trying to get out before the end of the series, and I have yet to lodge my Siri. I'm not talking to you. I have.
Are you sure?
I have yet to lodge my complaint that we have only 5 seasons. We had only 5 with Discovery and only 5 with Lower Decks. I am, because I'm ready for 24/7 Star Trek. It's better than the world that we kind of have going on right now.
Yeah. Well,
What's
and you know,
most medium?
the thing that really surprises me is I feel like, first of all, with animation, you know what you're going to get as far as budget goes, because you don't have to suddenly like, oh no, we need to go build a new set. No, you're just still drawing and, obviously on a computer animating these set pieces that you want. So there's not a whole lot of surprise when it comes to budget. And I also feel like this is kind of the runaway hit, isn't it? I mean, maybe I'm mistaken here, but at least when I talk to other fans and being at conventions and hearing the buzz, what show won you over unanimously? It's Lower Decks.
It's Lower Decks and Strange New Worlds, I think, of the new crop of shows.
Well, and
Agreed.
I think Lower Decks serves as a very good kind of like cohesion, something that is easy to digest and is connected to all the other branches that are maybe not so easy to digest. So I would think, if someone came in on whatever and then they tried Lower Decks and then they were like, well, what was that about? That would lead them to whatever the episodes they were referencing or the series they were referencing.
Yeah.
But maybe they have a plan. All I have to look forward to right now is Section 31. What is that, January?
Yep. January 24th or 25th, something like that. Well, I was going to ask you, and I will pose this to both of you, Ashley and Laura, and the rest of our audience. When we get to the end of season 5 of Lower Decks, if there is a life beyond that, what do you want it to be for Lower Decks?
Ooh.
I mean, do you want it to just be like, hey, surprise, we're making a 6th season? Or do you want something else, or not at all? What would float your fan boat?
I've heard people say, about the movies, I'm okay with a Picard movie or maybe a Discovery movie, but I don't think Lower Decks would be. I mean, I don't know what kind of adventure they would have to think up to fill an hour and a half to 2 time frame. But
I think if you're doing the Lower Decks movie, it has to intentionally be a parody of TMP because that's the first Star Trek movie.
I like that idea. Yep.
Have they expressed that in the show? Because I know they've done all the other movies.
I'm sure they have. But if you're gonna try, you gotta have her So if it's a 60-minute animated movie, you've got to have at least a solid 2 minutes dedicated to just looking at planetscapes, right? We have to do the V'ger VFX moment, but proportional to the length of this animated movie. I don't know. I think TMP is interesting and divisive in the fandom enough that you could do something really funny with those idiots from the Cerritos.
That's okay. Well, let me refer to our chat here because we're getting some really interesting answers as well. So, okay. Paul suggests Lower Decks miniseries. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if they could just come back for even, a few half hours here and there, I think that would be great. Carlos says 7 seasons and a movie. Okay.
Yeah, community reference.
Ambitious. Paul Wright says a movie at least. Brett says more anything Lower Decks. But here we go. Paul chiming in, Lower Decks live action movie.
Oh,
you could do
that
it.
That would be amazing.
You'd have to do it fast, though, because they're not going to look like those characters forever. So they would have to do it in the next 10 years.
I would be fun. Yeah.
Because they would be more difficult to age up because we don't know what they look like in 3D space, right?
I would say you'd have to do it in 3 to 5 years. And here's the thing.
Ideally.
I wouldn't even have to have that as a movie. Do it as a mini series. You would do it as
episode.
Yeah, do it as a one-off. Yeah. I that would be so cool. I love that idea. I think that's...
Dr. What's her name? vacation.
Oh my God,
That would be
Jillian
amazing.
as a live
Or
action.
bring back one of the Ajax characters with the third arm.
Have
Yeah.
her and
Eric's-
Shax
yeah.
get married, and let's explore what their domestic life looks like.
Oh my God, that would be incredible. David Akechi says Noelle Wells stated on stage in Newport Beach that she was down for the green makeup. So, hey, there we go.
We support
I'm
this.
amazed she hasn't already put it on. Like, what?
I know, right?
She's
right?
waiting to be paid for those 12 hours, let me tell you. She's doing it the smart way. She's not just doing this of her own volition. No, I
Right,
respect that.
Laura, it has been a pleasure. Any final thoughts tonight before we say goodnight?
Just random. Usually, Ransom's delivery of everything that comes out of his mouth is a little annoying to me. But
But isn't it
no offense
supposed to
to
be?
Jerry O'Connell. But the episode when it was him and the alternate Ransom, and they were like, "Don't touch my button, handsome! Don't you touch my button!" That just tickled me pink. I was like, they're calling each other handsome. Okay.
Yeah. That tracks. Yeah. Totally
Well,
works.
thanks for having me, guys.
Hey, Laura, take care. A pleasure, and I hope we see you again. All right.
Bye, Laura.
Bye.
Take it easy. All right, Ashley, we did it. So glad to have you back, and we'll get to do this again next week. Anything you didn't get to tonight? Because now is it.
John, you like
Yes.
cocktails. What are you ordering when you are on your stay at the Duchess?
Well, I guess I have to order a spritz, but I'm not going to tell you what kind of spritz it is. You're just going to have to guess.
You monster.
And with that, Mission Log Live is produced by Roddenberry Entertainment. Technical production on Mission Log and Mission Log Live by the incalculable Earl Green. Be sure to visit podcast.roddenberry.com for the latest from Roddenberry Podcasts. If you'd like to support Mission Log directly, give us a look at patreon.com/Mission Log. Thank you again to my guest co-host tonight, Ashley Victoria Robinson. Thank you for everyone who joined us tonight or later in the non-live version, and we look forward to seeing you all for more Lower Decks next week.
This is a Roddenberry podcast. For more great podcasts, visit podcast.roddenberry.com.